Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another Mixed Media Frenzy YouTube Hop. This is a series that we do, or that I participate in once a month. I think it's like actually the last Friday of the month, or the 28th or something like that. I don't have it in front of me, but it is a monthly series and it happens at the end of the month. So you saw the inspiration there. It's up in the upper right hand corner. It is a Missy Whitten piece of beautiful artwork there. And I wanted to do something very similar because that is our inspiration, obviously, but I wanted to do it with a masculine feel. So that is what I'm going to do. So I start out with pulling out my Nuvo embellishment mousse. And the one that I'm using there is called Cosmic Brown. And then I'm also going to be using Gunmetal Gray and Mother of Pearl. And the Mother of Pearl one has like a gold hint to it, and so I am going with 3 different metallics, one gold, one silver, and one that has a copper look. So even though this is Cosmic Brown, it has a copper feel to it, so that is what I'm going with. And I'm using those brushes that I'm using are from Tim Holtz, and they are telescoping stippling brushes, and they work really well. And a lot of my mousses have been a little bit on the dry side, so I had added some water to them in advance and let them kind of soak up a little bit. And that is why this silver or gold, not silver, wait, silver, not gold, which it looks gray, but it's really silver because it's metallic looking, is going on super easily and smoothly. I like how it's looking, but I do know that this piece of paper is going to be cut up because I don't want the entire paper to have color on it. I want it to be like the one that is the inspiration piece where it has that section that is white. And I guess I could have very well just gone and made a triangle of that silver portion, the gold portion, and left this section here white. But I really actually intended to cut it up because if I look closely at her inspiration piece, there is some stitching, and those are actually 3 pieces of paper, I believe, that she is using there. They are not actually mixed media to my knowledge, or from what I can tell. I believe the mixed media on her piece are the flowers. I think and I have not actually watched her video. I don't actually even know if she has a video on this one or anything like that. I didn't go search it out, but I thought the floral parts are probably the mixed media parts on that particular layout. So here is what I have so far. And then I took a piece of just plain old printer paper, and I am just gluing the pieces onto it so that I can get them stuck down where I want and then do my stitching. And I'm not sure why I did it this way and I didn't just glue it down to the background, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I end up switching the whole thing around and doing this entire process over again with the lining it up here, because I end up wanting the lighter color on the top and the darker color on the bottom, and I can't just rotate it, because if you see the photo to the right hand side there, he is looking towards the left, and I want him looking towards the white part, not towards the silver part. So I end up cutting everything apart and redoing it so that the gold is up at the top and the copper is down at the bottom. Also, you'll notice the gold does not extend quite as far to the left-hand side as the copper does, and neither does hers in her inspiration piece. The top one does not extend quite as far left as the bottom one, and I want to kind of mimic that as well. So I am taking the other colors that I have used, and I am just splattering them over, or I am doing tone on tone splattering is what I'm trying to say there. So the shimmers that I'm using on top of that brown is called Chocolate and Diamonds, I believe, or Diamonds and Chocolate. And then I'm using Thunderstorm on the gray, and I'm using Minor 49er, I believe, on the gold. And so here I go again, that whole process over again. So I've got even more layers of paper, but that's okay. You know, it's the end result that you're going for. And if it takes a little bit of extra work to get there, I don't mind it, because I will like it a lot better in the long run. And what I'm trying to do with that background paper there is I'm trying to make sure that the edge reveal is all the same all the way around, so that my triangles are not like wonky going in towards the paper. So I want it to have the same kind of reveal all the way around. So I'm liking how that's looking. I'm trimming a little bit of corner off here because it was extending a little bit too far. I have those metallic stickers off to the right hand side. I got those from a friend of mine, but I believe they're from the dollar store. I think they're the dollar store brand, is the only way I know that, because somebody had mentioned that they were the dollar store brand. But they're really cool looking, and so I decided I wanted to use those. And I know I'm going to be pulling out a lot of gears, and beyond that I wasn't really sure what I was going to do. And this video is a lot longer because there is quite a bit of mixed media involved in this, and so anytime there's mixed media involved and lots of layers, there's going to be a little bit longer video, especially since a lot of the embellishments need mixed media as well. So I pulled out this stencil from Kaiser Craft, and I thought I would just mush some gold right through it because, again, I want tone on tone, but the mushing didn't work, so I ended up pulling out a stippling brush and brushing. I'm sorry, that's not a stippling brush. It is a sponge dauber. So I am sponging on some of that because I just want a really light hint of it. And as you can see there, it is a very light hint of it. And I don't know if that really even shows at the end, but I know it's there. I probably could have gotten away without doing it, but at this point I really wasn't sure how much stuff I was going to layer up around the photo. So I wanted to be sure that all of my bases were covered because, you know, once you start gluing all those bits and pieces down, there's no way you can go back and do this step. So even if you're not sure that it's all going to show or not, you probably should do it right off the bat, because otherwise, you know, you can't add it later, or it would be very difficult to add it later. And so I am just pulling out another one in silver, and these are just, I think they're called Brilliant. I don't know, I can't read it, but I'm pretty sure it's called Brilliance. And I've had these like in my stash for ages. Actually, they were lost for a few years. I know that sounds funny. I loaned them to a friend. She returned them and then accidentally took them home with her, and then I finally got them back. But yeah, they're pretty cool. And so I pulled out some metal gears that I have, and I'm using this rub and buff. It's gold leaf rub and buff, and you put it on like your metal or whatever, and it will turn it to kind of a golden look. The stuff that you rub on is gold, and it makes your fingers very dirty. But I had gears in copper and gears in silver, and I did not have very many in gold, so I took a couple of the ones that were the closest to gold and rubbed some of that gold on it just to make them even more gold, because again, I'm doing that tone on tone look. And I am just layering up some gears here around Noah's head. And so my initial thought was, you know, when you do one of those really florally kind of beautiful scrapbook pages that has all the big flowers and gems and everything, and they're kind of like a showpiece and you frame it, I kind of like wanted to do that, but I wanted it to be masculine. So I was trying to figure out, well, how would I make that into a masculine layout and have it still, you know, look good, but not completely flat. And I didn't just want to put a bunch of flowers on it. So what I did is I substituted the flowers for the gears. I am going to put a few flowers on it, but they're going to be tiny flowers, little tiny, tiny, tiny ones. And that's like one of the last things I end up doing. But in the meantime, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and keep adding gears. And so I did heat emboss that top one. So half of it's silver and half is gold where the line crosses there. The bottom one, I just used some copper ink, some more of that metallic ink. And I'm again using I had like 3 different metallic coppers. One's like copper, one's poppy, and I can't remember what the third one was called, but they're all in the copper family. So I just inked up the rest of the gears that way. And I don't mind that one copper one kind of falling over into the white area. Actually, I kind of intentionally did that. And what I was just doing there was I was marking the lines as to where the gold or the three colors start and stop, so that I can do again tone on tone with this large gear cut file. So I'm doing the gold over the gold, the silver over the silver, and again the copper over the copper. And it's just going to add another layer of interest. And this is why I said I'm not sure if you're going to see that stenciling that I originally did at the bottom, on the bottom layer. But I do end up liking how it all looks at the end. So, you know, sometimes it's trial and error, and you just go with it. And if you can't see it, you can't see it. But I know it's there, and there are little bits that you can see. So at least I can see it. I know it's there. So again, I have just broken up all of that Nouveau Mousse because this one was super dry. I added some distilled water to it, and then I'm able to just go ahead and brush it on after it's sat for a while. So if yours feels like it's really dry, I would just put some distilled water, not just a couple of squirts, but I would just go ahead and pour like a tablespoon in or something like that and let it sit for a while, and then go in and break it up with like a knife or a fork and let it sit even longer, and then go in and mash it up, and it will work again. That's exactly what I had to do. I didn't show that on camera because it wasn't really necessary to make the layout, but that's what I ended up having to do because mine was fairly dried out. Okay, so I've got that cut file down, and now I'm going to layer those gears back up. I did have that metal key. It's like the key that you turn on the back of a toy, not like a key that you open a door with. And so I like how that looks. And then off camera, I did take my paper over to my sewing machine, and I did a zigzag stitch with some gold metallic thread. And you're not going to see all of it because, yes, the cut file covers up a lot of it, but it's there. You can see it. It peeks out. You can see it in the corners. So again, it's one of those things that you do it because it all adds to the effect, even though it's not like in your face, bold and bright, and it's not like the most obvious part of the layout. But it does make a difference. So it's worth the time if you're trying to do something. Like, I will probably put this into a frame for a while and have it on my wall. And so I like how that would look. So definitely worth it. Also worth it if you're making a piece like this as a gift, because this one is not so bulky to put in an album like the ones with all the flower layers. But, you know, it would make a good gift framed into a shadow box type frame. So there was a frame, speaking of frames, there was a frame on that sticker sheet, and it was the perfect width to put on this photograph, but I did have to take out a bit because it was too long. So I basically just trimmed it down and took out a little bit, and then patched it back together, kind of Frankensteined it. But it works. You can't really see where the lines are, and I like how it looks. I do have that light bulb piece. It's like an old-fashioned light bulb there, and it says Bright Ideas. I'm going to swap that one out for a piece exactly like it, but it says Big Ideas instead of Bright Ideas. And I think it's kind of a really good nod to a little guy who has big ideas, and this kid really does have some big ideas. He's funny. He comes up with really funny things. He's very smart. And I know a lot of people say that about their grandkids or their kids, but he definitely has his mom's vocabulary. Like, he's 2 and says, I'm organizing my books, and what are my options, and kind of funny things like that. So of course he's picking it up from the adults in his life, but you know, it's funny to hear out of a little guy's mouth. So I just think it's a perfect title for this layout. Now I am trying to figure out where to put these other pieces. I like the key. I like the round pieces. The square pieces are a little bit hard for me to place because everything on here is more organic looking or feeling than the squares and rectangles. But I do end up putting some of the rectangles down underneath where the bottom right hand corner of the photograph, and that is where the title is going to reside as well. The title's going to go right on top of them, but they provide some nice layers behind the title. I really love that piece that is on the bottom right hand of the photograph. It is a zipper and it's silver, but the bottom, very bottom of it is unzipped and it's gears peeking out of the silver. So I love that piece. And that's probably about the only area where I use the squares because I could not work them in with the circles anywhere else, the squares and rectangles. So I do love the little keys, the wind-up keys. Those are really cool. And then I have to pop some of this foam off of the back because I want some of these pieces to tuck under, and I didn't leave enough room for them to tuck under. They were pretty much just, the foam was right up to the edge, and then I couldn't really stick anything underneath it. So I'm playing with that copper piece again, but it's not going to make it onto the layout. I keep trying, but it's not going to make it. So while I'm working on that, I'll remind you that this is a monthly hop that we do. There are a lot of people playing along, and in my description box will be a list of all of the participants playing along. And it's a lot of fun. We always have some sort of fun mixed media piece that is our inspiration. And so I really enjoy it because it makes me think outside the box of my typical mixed media. You know, I do use like a lot of sprays and watercolor type stuff, but I haven't used my Nuvo embellishment mousse in ages, and so this really kind of made me think a little differently about that, and made me pull those out and revive them. So I would definitely check out all the people who are playing along and see how they took this inspiration piece and made it their own, and what they did to alter it and all of that good stuff. So check out those links. Now what I have done here is I've just put a piece of acrylic right over the top of the layout. It's just holding everything down while I put some black ink on that title piece, which is the light bulb. And then I realized that I was using like permanent black ink, and so it's kind of stuck onto my acrylic piece now, but that's okay. You know, eventually I will get it off or not worry about it. So I do have to put some foam tape doubled up onto the right hand side of that because there's nothing holding it up. But on the left hand side in the center, I have those silver pieces underneath that are definitely holding it up. Now I am putting some splatter of all of the colors onto the white area just to kind of give it some interest. I don't want it just stark white. It looked like it was, I don't know, it looked like it was bald. Sounds funny, but it looked like it was missing something. So I put a little bit of each of those colors into the white area. And I have an acrylic block sitting over the photograph of Noah so that it doesn't matter if any of the splatter gets on it. And it was printed on my selfie printer, so it is easy enough to wipe up if necessary. So then I pulled out some paper gears, and I am altering those with more of the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, the Nuvo embellishment mousse. I am using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to hold things down, and then I also am using some crystal lacquer to hold the metal pieces down because I know that stuff will hold really well. It dries up like Crystal Effects, but it's called crystal lacquer instead. So I think that's what it's called. I've had it for ages, and it's what I used to use all of the time in my early videos and before I found the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. So I was toying with putting that round silver tag at the top there with the gear. I'm just letting it sit there and hang out while I figure out what I want to do. I do end up adding that piece that says, "Let's go on an adventure together," and I really like that. And then I do end up adding this gear down at the bottom, but I'm adding it to the inside of the circle. I'm trying to keep most of the things on the inside of the circle without having things go to the outside. I think it's just containing it, and it was just the look I was going for. I think I do have one piece that ends up, do I? No, I don't. The only piece that's really outside the circle is that little top cluster on the upper left hand side because it was looking like it needed something up there, so I created a cluster up there. I do like the addition of this paper gear. I know they're flat, but that's okay. They are an added dimension because they are lower than all of the other pieces that are already on the layout. I am adding this little piece. I think it says blessed. I like how that looks. So I'm just kind of adding bits and pieces here and there. I do have to add some foam to the back of the one side of the piece that says let's go on an adventure, because everything else is raised on the left-hand side. And as you saw, I kind of made those pieces really fit the color. Some of those paper cogs and gears were really coppery, but the silver one was not silver enough, so I definitely modified that. And here come the little tiny flowers. And I said little, they're little. And I'm only adding a few of them to each area, like 3 to each little area, just to kind of soften it up a little. And I really like the addition of them. I think they look really nice. And I'm thinking about if there's anything additional I want to add up here at the upper left-hand corner, and if I want it on foam or what. And I don't think I added foam behind it, but I do like the way that it looks. And I am going to add a couple of flowers up in that upper left-hand corner as well. And these white flowers, I'm going to modify those again. I'm going to pull out some, I think I use shimmers to modify those and make them more gray than white. So again, changing up all of the pieces so that they are tone on tone. Oh, maybe I just change them up with the Nuvo. Yes, I do. It's been a little bit since I actually put this together, and I've done quite a few layouts since then, getting ready for next month, which is 30 days of sketches and Scraptember. So come back and visit for that, because there will be a new video every day for you. But in the meantime, let me go back to this one. I did have to modify those, and I do modify the ones in the copper area as well, using the same Nuvo Deluxe adhesive that I used on the background. And not adhesive, Nuvo embellishment mousse. I don't know why I can't get that straight. I am using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere them down though, and I really like the way that this is coming together. I hope that you are enjoying it. Thank you for sticking with me for so long while I put this together. I know it was quite a lot, and it was a long video, and there was a lot of mixed media involved. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I've inspired you to pull out your mixed media, to use a product maybe that you haven't used in quite some time, and to put them to work for you so that you can make a beautiful layout and something that maybe you hadn't thought about making to start with. So don't forget to check out everyone else who's playing along. If you have questions or comments, you can leave those down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. The close-ups are coming up in just a few moments, and I just want to take time to say thank you for watching and spending time with me today. I'll see you guys again next month with another Mixed Media Frenzy. Bye-bye.